Welcome to the Entrepreneur Podcast, where we take a look inside the lives of the accomplished and successful businessmen and women. We'll get up close and personal with the founders of booming startups. So lean in and prepare to carry away something to skyrocket your own business. Please subscribe to our show and do leave us a review. It means a lot to us. Now, here's your host, Rajiv.
Hey listeners, welcome to the Entrepreneur Talk Show. I am your host Rajiv Krishnan, and this is the show where we talk about entrepreneurship and speak to great founders, entrepreneurs and investors. Today we have with us Krishna Abatipudi, founding member of the ASAL-Amaravati Solar Association, a cooperative where all renewable energy entrepreneurs can promote their products and services. Welcome, Krishna.
Yeah, thank you, Rajiv. Welcome to the show.
Well, just a brief intro. Krishna started his career in renewable energy in 1997 and currently works at SOLTEK as a vice president, and soon will be launching this product and service in March 2017. Prior to this, he was also with Bharat Energy. Again, Krishna, welcome to the show. Do let us know what's going on in your world today.
Yeah, thanks, Rajiv. Great. Thank you, listeners, for patiently taking this podcast. The first and foremost, very interesting thing about our initiative is generally entrepreneurship means you will see if it is a country like India, it will be private limited or a limited or a LLP kind of company.
Correct.
So for the first time, we are coming up with a very cooperative model kind of thing. In fact, Singapore is the country where these cooperative business models are really picking up. I think many people know now this fair price movement, which is going extremely good. So a lot of cooperative business models they're picking up. Otherwise, if you take the country like India, AMUL is a very successful model. Actually, many people in India or even outside, AMUL they know as a brand. But if you actually take the acronym, it's like Anand Milk Union Limited.
Correct.
So this whole initiative actually was initiated from a place called Anand in Gujarat.
Got it.
So similarly, since this idea was born in Amaravati, on similar lines, we have kept this name as on date as Amaravati Solar Association Limited. So otherwise, I was born and brought up in a place called Guntur. In fact, now the new state capital, once Amaravati is formed in Andhra Pradesh, all Guntur, Vijayawada, these all three will be put together called Amaravati.
Got it. So, Krishna, tell me any passions outside of work?
Yeah, actually, I am very passionate about countryside living. That's more because during my this 20 years career, I traveled a lot of countryside, and it's so cool when it comes to environment, cost of living.
Correct.
Culture, many things. They're very, very good actually.
Okay.
So I'm not very keen to stay in urban areas.
Okay.
And currently, listening to music is another passion because my entire family is into music. My both daughters, spouse, everybody.
Okay, great. So,
very specifically, other than
Go on.
Yeah, please.
So you've been in renewable energy for many years now. So what
inspired? Since 97.
So what inspired the idea for you and your founding members to start ASAL?
Yeah, that's a very interesting question because generally you may have done a lot of interviews with various entrepreneurs.
Yep.
Only the concepts and products might be different.
Correct.
Whereas this business model itself is a totally different model. Because typically, if you look at any new startup today in India or other countries, either it be a private limited company or if it is a very big startup, it's a limited company kind of thing.
Correct.
Whereas this model is completely a private limited, not private limited or a limited kind of thing. It's a totally cooperative model.
Okay.
So the rationale behind this whole initiating cooperative business model is, so when I traveled about more than 20 countries in this 20 years period in my renewable energy career, what I have understood is that there are a lot of flips and flops in this business.
Correct.
Be very specific, like you take oil companies, British Petroleum, Shell Renewables, or even if you take in India, Tata's, Reliance, everybody has entered into this business.
Okay.
But at the same time, there is a huge exit kind of thing also. For example, if you take in India today, Tata's, they don't anymore sell solar water heaters. That means the entire division they have closed. Similarly, Shell has closed their division.
Oh, okay.
So that is at a very top level. So when these companies get closed, actually, as you know, there will be a big problem for the consumers. For example, like you take in case of these water heater consumers, there are lakhs of solar water heaters which are sold by Tata BP dealers.
Okay.
So that leaves a very big question mark. Number two, even for the dealers who are tied up all these days with these companies, they will completely go for a task when such things happen.
Okay.
And then second layer, what I have studied is these small time companies. When I say Tata's and all, they make in India something like 600 crores, 1,000 crores turnover. When I say mid-sized companies who makes 100 crores turnover, those kind of companies, they are also having a lot of issues in terms of these exits.
Got it.
And if you really look at the mass numbers, that means this entrepreneurship, if you take complete Asian countries or African countries, there are a lot of players actually who do something like 5 crores, 10 crores per annum kind of thing.
Okay.
Those kind of businesses are there. So one of the challenges in the current business models, for example, if you take, let us take, when we say India, people easily get recognized with a city like Bangalore, Pune, like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So an entrepreneur who starts his business in renewable energy in these cities, so if he faces any problem in terms of technology or any failure in the design, that whole thing actually impacts his business model.
True.
So then what happens when he very uncomfortably winds up the business? It is not only consumers who are actually on the receiving end, and most of the times these entrepreneurs are also in a very big loss in terms of mental peace, what they lose, even the financial loss, what they incur. So having understood thoroughly about these problems, so that is how this whole cooperative business model is coined up. So we are now first time pulling up all the entrepreneurs across the country and even beyond also. That is the whole idea.
Okay.
For example, like today, as I am talking to you, so today afternoon we had a brainstorming sessions with players in Ahmedabad city, that is in Gujarat.
Yep.
So they are already doing their current business. And when we have discussed about this idea of forming a cooperative, everybody says fantastic, because they know that they have a lot of practical limitations.
Correct.
So this concept of cooperative is basically to insulate the consumers, insulate the entrepreneurs, even or if you have to put the broadly, insulate all the stakeholders from the risks involved.
Got it. So
completely.
Okay. So I mean, along with you, who else are the other founding members? Is it a huge bunch or just a few of y'all?
Yeah, that's a good question. Now, the moment we talk about forming something pan-India basis, India is a country of almost 150 crores population. So each state, as we travel, we are now finding out the expertise. For example, somebody with the expertise of solar photovoltaics, then somebody with the expertise of solar thermal, somebody with the expertise of biomass, somebody expertise of biogas, then pico hydro, then wind, like that.
Okay, got it.
So what we are going to do is we are going to form a founding member team by this March end, 2017.
Okay.
So this team will have product designs which are standardized. In fact, that is another challenge in the current business models. A person who is selling a solar photovoltaic system in Bangalore is not the same one what he is selling in Delhi.
Got it.
There is a huge gap. That why we are again every time, like I am referring AMUL, you buy a milk packet of AMUL either in Mumbai or in Ahmedabad or in some other city, that remains. So that is another thing we are trying to achieve through this model.
Got it.
That means consumer buying at any place in the country.
Yep. Yep.
If let's say a very easily understanding model, 200 liters solar water heater, which is a very fast moving product suitable for a family of 4 to 5 members,
Yep.
that will remain same across the country.
Got it.
Similarly, in India now there is a big revolution in the solar rooftop power systems.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
So there also, if you look at a 2 kilowatt power system, which can generate about something like close to 10 units every day, that system, as it is in the existing models, there is a huge gap. The entrepreneur who sells in Pune is different, who sells in Bangalore is different. So that we are going to standardize.
Okay. I had one of these guys 8 minutes on my show once.
Yeah,
They are doing
yeah,
some solar roofing technology actually. Correct.
correct.
So if how does actually ASAL work then? I mean, if so you start the company, how does it actually work?
Yeah. Though, so ASAL is first of all the organization when we form it legally by this month end,
Yep.
it will be a national level cooperative.
Okay.
So this will have again like state level cooperatives.
Okay.
But
Okay.
having said that, then immediately people will say, then what is the difference?
Yeah.
It is
Correct.
like a national body and state body like that. So that is where one interesting development happening in our country. That is GST. That is this whatever goods sales tax, which will become uniform across the country.
Yep. Yep.
So that I think many people are aware. In this budget, it is passed. So it is a matter of months now to that get implemented. So ASAL now will become a truly national institution at one shot.
Okay.
That means whether the billing will happen from Ahmedabad or Bangalore, it remains same. There will be no variation in terms of taxations and other things as GST gets implemented.
Okay. Okay.
And
So
since you yeah,
go ahead.
please.
Go ahead, Krishna.
Yeah, you told something like 8 minutes.
Yep. Yep.
Okay, they are also a very interesting startup in renewable energy. They work on a RESCO model.
Okay.
RESCO model means, for example, if an institution, let us say a big college, would like to go for a 100 kilowatt solar rooftop system,
Yep.
they have two options. One option is either directly they invest, or they will discuss with companies like 8 minutes
Correct.
who are keen to do this RESCO model. In RESCO model, what happens is that the entire plant will be invested by the entrepreneur and the consumer pays.
Okay.
And even that business model, actually, to be very frank with all the viewers and even you also,
Mm-hmm.
it sounds excellent when you look at it. In fact, if you really ask them or even people who are doing the RESCO model,
Yep.
every day they will receive thousands of inquiries. But the challenge for the person who is doing this RESCO model will be,
Mm-hmm.
what is the credit worthiness of the other consumer?
Correct.
Because in the RESCO model, consumer pays every month like a tariff, the way he pays to the traditional DISCOM, that is distribution company of electricity.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens if it defaults? That's a very big financial risk
Yeah.
which is
Correct.
involved RESCO model.
Correct.
So in ASAL, in fact, even we are looking at those models, but those things we will not be jumping immediately.
Got it.
We'll be doing a outright sale kind of thing. But as things get streamlined, and if we get really credit-worthy consumers, because in India now this financial aspect, CIBIL score,
Yep.
then
Yep.
ICRA ratings, all these rating agencies are coming up. So if we come across with any consumers who are interested doing in RESCO model, then we will be looking at such options also.
Okay. And how do you all make revenue? I mean, is it going to be a free service initially or?
Yeah. Now that is the real crux. That means how exactly this model works.
Yeah.
So there are totally about, I can say, 4 stakeholders we are keeping in this business model.
Okay.
One of the first stakeholder whom we are calling is a renewable energy promoter.
Okay.
So again, under this renewable energy promoter, there are two categories.
Mm-hmm.
One, the person who does the front ending of only sales. That means he goes and meets the client,
Yeah.
understands his needs, and then checks back with ASAL and offers a solution directly to the consumer.
Okay.
He won't touch anything on the service aspect. So that is another fundamental difference between the existing models and this model. So there will be another promoter whose primary job is only to install and service these renewable energy systems.
Okay. Got it.
So now here again, why we are doing this differentiation is when we bring people across the country for this promotion of renewable energy goods,
Yes.
if the same person handles sales and service, there is an element of risk that one promoter claiming that I will give better service than XYZ.
Correct.
And in reality, it may not happen so. And similarly, I'm rarely talking very practically.
Yeah.
Because suppose somebody buys a system by believing all these words, and then tomorrow he is keen to get a service. And if he approaches the other person, he may say that you did not buy from me. Then why should I offer service?
Correct.
So to prevent these kind of very practical limitations, we are completely bifurcating the sales promotion and service promotion.
Okay.
So that is the first stakeholder in this business model. They are the first stakeholders.
Okay.
Renewable energy promoters, sales promoters, service promoters. Now, these service promoters, like I compared AMUL kind of thing in cooperative, that is the brand, how they establish ASAL in sales. This service, they will touch any system. They won't differentiate anything like you bought from XYZ. No, nothing.
Okay.
In fact, to compare that in a very layman language, like the way we get our two-wheeler or four-wheeler serviced by any professional mechanic. I'm not saying everybody. A professional mechanic can literally touch any two-wheeler or any four-wheeler as long as he's comfortable with that system. So that's how we are building up this first stakeholder.
Okay.
Now the second stakeholder in this model is ASAL directly. Because as the promoters does their job, for example, sales promoter, when he approaches the consumers, he gets leads. Those solutions will be directly offered by ASAL. So for that also, we are having one physical platform, as well as we are going to have one online platform and also a mobile app kind of thing. So that it is really very, very handy and quick in terms of decision making for the promoters.
Okay.
It's not that they need to wait for too much.
Got it. Okay.
Similarly, the moment a salesperson closes the order, again, service promoter needs the support from ASAL. So that's when the entire solution will be handed over to the logistics person, and he will deliver the solution to the consumer. Immediately, service promoter will be informed so that he will go and install this system and then even maintain on a regular basis.
Okay. Got it.
So this is the now second. Now this ASAL facing the promoter is done. Now coming back to this suppliers, because now whatever solutions we offer, definitely we have to procure a lot of items. So for them also, ASAL is the one single point contact across the country.
Got it. You can buy all the products, correct?
Across the country. Because as we are getting GST, so it doesn't make me any difference whether they bill me at Hyderabad or Delhi or at any place. They can do that actually. So suppliers, both national as well as global suppliers, directly they can interact with us and they can do it.
Correct.
Similarly, suppliers in the previous models, they have limitations in extending skills. I will touch on this subject like I deeply touched on the promotion part. For example, today, if you take it the renewable energy solutions, for example, solar systems, so the modules, there is nothing much hand-holding is required by a supplier with the solution provider. Whereas there are items like these solar inverters, charge controllers, etc., which requires some kind of immediate attention. So the suppliers, when they work with ASAL, we will have, since we will have a number of service providers more, the skill transfer will be very easier for them. Because currently their limitation is, if they want to train 2 people in a company, that will be very difficult for them. Whereas if they want to train 100 people in ASAL, that really works out even economical for the supplier.
Correct.
In the long term, this will really improve the skills at the ground level as well as the costs also.
Okay, got it.
Now coming to the very crucial part, that is the consumers, why they should buy from ASAL. Because all the existing business models, the moment we launch, they will very interestingly look at our model. How will we be successful? So for the consumer, the value addition, what we are going to offer to ASAL is whether he buys from X promoter, Y promoter in a particular territory, it doesn't matter to him. As long as he's paying the money to ASAL, he's getting the bill from ASAL, the service will be provided by ASAL.
Okay.
Like we discussed initially, in the traditional model, the consumer pays to one dealer or one company, and if for some reason, if that person is not there in the field, then he will have a lot of trouble to get serviced. And in renewable energy systems, everybody talks about 25 years life.
Yeah.
So really, in this whole 25 years period, it will be very difficult for consumers if those players are not there in the field. So that is perfectly addressed by ASAL. So the long-term success, we are actually banking on that.
Okay, so you're like a one-stop shop. You didn't have to go anywhere else.
Here also.
Yep. Yes, go ahead, Krishna.
Absolutely. So here also there are about some 500 or 1,000 players in the market. If you look at a country like India, or if you take Sri Lanka, some 50 players or 100 players like that. Earlier, they have to spend a lot of energy and money to build their individual brands.
Okay.
Whereas now this is a single brand.
Got it.
That's a very big difference.
Okay.
Because, for example, if you take like country, even today in our country, the topmost player is not in a position to put one full page advertisement in a leading newspaper. Whereas if you look at the consumer durables and other things, they put that because they have reached that volume, and for them, building the brand like that is very much viable.
Got it.
That is another big attempt we are doing, where the brand is only one across the country. That's the reason. So whatever money you spend on marketing activities, it is very, very.
Okay. So moving on is how, I mean, are you self-funded now? You got some government funding for this?
That is also a good question. The cooperative models, the very basic thing that whoever joins, they will become the member as well as the shareholder.
Okay.
So definitely all our initial activity will be pulled by these members of this cooperative only. And definitely we are going to approach the governments in a very strategic manner.
Okay.
Like there is a very clear strategy there. In fact, the ASAL in the ground, how you can see is we are having currently brainstorming how to launch this on the ground. Either we are going to launch on pin code basis. That means every pin code will have a promoter. That is one thought process we are thinking. Another model is, like, since we are really talking big about service, lot of this ITI diploma kind of institutions are there across the country.
Yep.
So that is where we are actually going to talk with the government.
Okay.
That we prefer to open a ASAL center in a ITI or a polytechnic kind of thing.
Okay.
So that really even that is very good for the academic institution. In fact, as you know, even since you are from India, there is a huge gap between the academic institution and industry.
Got it. Yeah,
so that is another subject. So we would like to, we would like to address. Okay. So when we set up the ASAL center in ITI and polytechnic, it is not just the consumer and the seller who is going to benefit it. That institution also, their ITI students can get internships. They can really get hands-on work and they can really develop their skills. That will be very good impact in the long term.
Okay. So, I mean, you have been working with different companies in the corporate sector. So what made you decide to start your own cooperative with the other founding members, or go and start a business on your own?
Yeah, that's a good question. So having worked in all these corporates, so everywhere there are a lot of plus points and there are a lot of limitations, especially in this renewable energy sector. So as we have identified these challenges, there are two options in front of me. Like even at one point of time, you told, like when we told online, there is a scope to actually even to launch e-commerce business model.
Oh,
In
okay.
fact, many entrepreneurs are working on that model also.
Yep.
But in e-commerce business models, one limitation again, what we are saying, like I told, the whole idea is to basically protect the consumers and the entrepreneurs. In e-commerce business model, there is one very big dilemma with the entrepreneurs that in the long term, they may get blocked with a e-commerce company. There also, we have a very practical view on that.
Okay.
In the sense, like suppose I may build a e-commerce company, but in the long term, consumers may be actually paying me. But on ground, what really happens in a e-commerce company is their payment mechanism to the vendors is extremely painful. In fact, to put in a very diplomatic way or very plain way, that at one point of time, the suppliers are totally locked with the e-commerce company.
Okay. Okay.
So then this whole purpose of what we are actually trying to solve the problems of entrepreneurs won't get addressed if we launch a e-commerce model.
That's true. That's true.
So that is how the cooperative will have a e-commerce portal, but that is not driven by this too much profiteering. So that will keep a balance in our approach.
Okay. So, where do you, over time, who has inspired you the most?
Yeah. Oh, that's a very interesting thing. If you want, actually, you might have seen the Grameen Bank model of
Oh,
Bangladesh.
yes, yes,
That
yes.
is Professor Yunus. So that is one model which I have thoroughly seen. And then I have also seen the Dr. Harish Hande, who is the uh, uh, pioneer in this BOP markets in promoting renewable energy solutions, who is also a winner of a Maxese Award. And while working in Shell, we have seen ground level markets. Otherwise, working in corporates, all these learnings we have taken.
Mm-hmm.
But this professor, this Muhammad Yunus Grameen Bank model, that is one thing which has really inspired me. And secondly, in our country, we have one great ex-person like Abul Kalam,
Yes,
Mr. Rai
yes.
Chaudhary. He was the first person to invent a gas turbine engine. He has written a nice book, actually, The Broken Milk, like that. So in that book, actually, he talks about this cooperative business model to promote the renewable energy solutions on a sustainable manner in the long term.
Okay. Okay.
So these two people are the inspiration behind this whole
Excellent. Excellent.
cooperative business.
So,
Yeah.
where do you see yourself and your company in the next 2 to 3 years?
Yeah, that's a good question. So, in the current cooperative business model, the company grows and the promoters will get recognized as a team.
Yep.
So, there will be definitely no individual highlights. In fact, by 31st March, we'll be announcing our founding member team.
Okay.
So, whatever credit or brick bats we receive
Okay.
completely is to the total team.
Great. Great. So,
Yeah.
so moving on, Krishna, I just want to check. Any last thought or piece of advice you want to give our listeners who are listening to the show and who may want to enter the renewable energy market?
Yeah, definitely. In fact, all the new entrepreneurs who are coming into this renewable energy sector, actually, this question we could have had a very elaborate discussion, but still, we try our level best to have that.
That's why I keep it in the
Because
end.
what is yeah,
Uh,
what is happening is actually all these entrepreneurs when they pass out from these B schools from various
yeah,
countries,
yeah.
they are very fancy about this venture capitalists and so many things. But in reality, I'm telling with all practical experience, those things don't matter because in the long term, if you don't make any value addition to your consumers, to your promoters, to your suppliers who are there in the ecosystem, so it doesn't work out.
Very true.
For
Very
example,
true.
I don't want to quote the names of the companies, they have burnt crores of money spending just by forgetting the basics. For example, I know one company which has launched a product just costing about something like $100. So if you think in a very big B school, in a venture capital kind of environment and think like that, it doesn't work like that.
Yeah,
Even that
yep, yep.
$100 product requires some kind of financial support if you want to take it to the last mile.
Correct.
So that is where my sincere advice to all the people who are actually entering into this renewable energy field, look at this cooperative business model very seriously. So this is definitely not like within 3 years you will become a billionaire. With that dream, if somebody comes, absolutely not possible. Because that is generally possible in traditional business models where your firm is private limited or limited, and you will show books and do whatever you want, so that you want to show a rosy picture. So after some time, there again, you know what happened to
Yeah,
Sunrise.
yeah.
That's a very big hype which has been created, and suddenly you see. So, like that, my piece of advice to all the new guys who are actually entering into this entrepreneur, especially into the renewable energy sector, really look at this cooperative business model if you are a long-term, if you are
Okay.
interested in the long-term game.
Okay, got it. And let our
Yeah.
listeners know how they can reach you and also ASAL when it launches.
Yeah. Actually, we have a very simple mechanism. Now, since WhatsApp is a very global this thing, I will share that WhatsApp number and email number.
Okay.
The WhatsApp number, do you want to announce or shall I
You
share?
can send it to me. I can put it on the show. Or you can also share it
Yeah.
here. No problem.
Yeah. Actually, WhatsApp number is the India code is +91
Okay.
94418
Yep.
99745. I will repeat, +91 94418 99745.
Okay.
The consumers or anybody who would like to try renewable energy solutions through this cooperative model, they can simply send their GPS location or address to this, and then we will get back to them and offer these solutions at their doorstep. And it's a nice offer for the listeners as they listen this the Asian Entrepreneur podcast show. They can quote this show and claim 10% discount.
Oh, great.
And it will be a very genuine discount we would like to offer.
Great, great, great hearing that. Again, Krishna, thanks for
Yeah.
taking the time to talk to us and inspiring our listeners to start their own ventures. And all the very best at building and scaling ASAL.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Rajiv,
All
for
right.
your
And
valuable opportunity.
listeners, do message the number as WhatsApp number is provided by Krishna and get to know more about the cooperative. And also visit us at theasianentrepreneur.com to get the show notes and leave a review on your thoughts about this show. Thank you.
Thank you for listening, and please subscribe to the show so you don't miss an episode. In the meantime, head over to theasianentrepreneur.com and check out show notes and other information to motivate you in your entrepreneurial endeavors.